In this alternate history, the Mamluk field army breaks at Ain Jalut. Kitbuqa's victory does not make Egypt fall overnight, but it opens a contested road toward the Nile that history once closed. In our timeline, the Mamluks won at Ain Jalut on September 3, 1260. Their victory became the decisive check on Mongol expansion in the eastern Mediterranean. But what if Kitbuqa had read the trap? One altered battle could expand the Ilkhanate's reach from Persia toward Egypt, reshaping the Middle East without reuniting every Mongol Khanate. What follows is a speculative scenario grounded in real history. By the mid-13th century, the Mongols were a formidable imperial force across Asia and Eastern Europe. Under Hulagu, they moved into Persia and Mesopotamia, powerful but constrained by distance, pasture, and succession politics. Egypt's Mamluks were the strongest remaining military power capable of confronting the advance in the eastern Mediterranean. Former slave soldiers had built a disciplined sultanate around cavalry training, patronage, and command. In 1258, Hulagu's forces sacked Baghdad, ending the Abbasid Caliphate there. The destruction shocked the region, while the Mongol advance through Syria brought Egypt's rulers face to face with an existential threat. In Egypt, Sultan Qutuz and the experienced commander Baibars assembled a field army. They understood that the coming fight would decide whether the Mongol advance could be stopped on Mamluk terms. At Ain Jalut, Kitbuqa commanded a smaller Mongol force left in Syria after Hulagu withdrew much of his army. Opposing him was the main Mamluk field army, deployed near springs and rolling foothills. Mamluk sources describe Baibars drawing Mongol pursuers forward with a feigned retreat. In this timeline, the maneuver begins as planned, but its rhythm looks too disciplined to Kitbuqa's veteran scouts. From a ridge, the scouts spot concealed dust and movement beyond the retreating line. Kitbuqa refuses the bait, orders his men to halt, and begins to turn the Mamluk plan against its creators. Instead of racing into the crescent, Mongol-mounted archers pin the vanguard, while armored lancers strike its exposed flank. The Mamluk counterattack forms too late, and the battle becomes a long retreat under pressure. Qutuz is killed or mortally wounded during the failed rally. Baibars escapes with a shattered remnant, but the Mamluks are no longer a coherent field force. Egypt has lost its shield, not its people. Victory gives Hulagu a rare opening, not a blank check. Before entering Egypt, the Ilkhanate must reinforce Syria, secure supply routes, and prepare for the widening conflict with the Golden Horde. Months later, a reinforced campaign moves toward the Nile. Cairo would not simply surrender. Its factions could bargain, its forts could resist, and its defenders could force a costly siege before any Mongol occupation. Suppose Cairo eventually accepts a negotiated surrender after siege and factional division. The result is an expanded, Ilkhanate-centered order, not a world without local elites, Islamic institutions, or Egyptian resistance. To govern Egypt, Mongol rulers would rely on local scribes, tax collectors, merchants, and military households. Their authority would be strongest along routes, cities, and revenue centers, not equally across every village. The Crusader states would face a harsher choice. Acre and its neighbors might offer tribute or maritime access, but a Mongol-held Syria would leave their coastal fortresses dangerously isolated. Early Ilkhanate rule was religiously plural. Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, and older steppe traditions coexisted unevenly. Later rulers could still convert, making Egypt's religious politics contested rather than simply erased. In the Levant, the Frankish states might be conquered, divided, or reduced to vassals earlier than in our timeline. Their survival would depend on tribute, shipping, and the shifting interests of Mongol governors. Europe would not confront one unified Mongol empire. It would negotiate with competing courts, the Ilkhans in Iran, the Golden Horde in the north, and rulers farther east, each with different ambitions. An Egypt-rich Ilkhanate could devote more money and attention to Anatolia, where Mongol authority already existed. Local rulers might face tighter taxation, stronger garrisons, and a more delayed path toward new beyliks. A success in Egypt could sharpen, not solve, the conflict with the Golden Horde. Control of Caucasian routes, trade, and prestige might turn the frontier into a more active fault line between Mongol states. European rulers might respond with letters, commercial agreements, papal missions, and short-lived maritime coalitions. Their interests would still diverge, but diplomacy with the Eastern Mediterranean would become even more urgent. The crucial change is the disappearance of the Mamluk buffer from the eastern Mediterranean. Mongol-controlled Syria and independent Egypt would redraw the balance between caravan routes, Red Sea trade, and Mediterranean shipping. Some overland routes could become safer under coordinated administration, while Alexandria and the Red Sea gain new importance as imperial revenue hubs. Trade would grow in places, but conflict and local tolls would not vanish. The same connectivity carries danger. In our timeline, plague moved through interconnected Eurasian and Mediterranean routes in the 14th century, reaching the Middle East and Europe with catastrophic consequences. Denser routes might alter where plague arrives first, and how quickly news, goods, and infection move. They would not make the disease biologically deadlier, but they could redistribute the demographic shock across Afro-Eurasia. In Egypt, Arabic language and Islamic institutions would retain deep legitimacy. Yet Mongol administration, Turkic military households, and new artistic exchanges could add another layer to Cairo's already complex identity. The Ottoman dynasty might be delayed, redirected, or emerge in another form. A more resource-rich Ilkhanate could hold Anatolia longer, but frontier politics would still create opportunities for ambitious local rulers. A wider Ilkhanate-centered network would reshape trade, not erase competition. Alexandria could link European shipping, Indian ocean goods, Persian textiles, and Mongol couriers in a more tightly contested commercial world. Holding Egypt would depend on partnership more than conquest alone. Egyptian administrators, Syrian merchants, Turkic commanders, and Mongol governors would bargain constantly over taxes, security, and access to power. Mamluk Cairo historically supported madrasas, libraries, legal scholarship, and monumental architecture. Under Ilkhanate rule, that patronage might continue in altered forms, shaped by Persian workshops and changing religious policy. No empire stays seamless forever. The real question is whether an Egypt-rich Ilkhanate survives long enough to tilt the balance between land routes and sea routes before succession crises pull it apart. Its fate would hinge on four pressures: succession, revenue, religious legitimacy, and cooperation from local elites. More territory could mean more wealth, but also more provinces capable of breaking away. For Europe, a durable Eastern empire could reshape the incentives behind maritime exploration. Sea routes to Asia might become more attractive, less urgent, or simply aimed at different partners and ports. That is why Ain Jalut matters. A Mongol victory could have created a larger Ilkhanate-centered order, transforming Egypt, Anatolia, trade, and diplomacy, while leaving every later outcome contingent on human choices. History was never inevitable. One battle changed the limits of empire. This is Historic's Vault. Subscribe for the next forgotten turning point.